Speaking of artificial intelligence, now obviously some may fear it, some are excited as to what the AI and bolds us in the future. Well, in terms of technology here, AI has a lot of positives here, especially in the fields of arts and letters in particular. So how can AI be used to benefit, you know, people here, in particular in research? So they use or apply machine learning skills in the field of arts, uh, wherein a team from the University of Washington wanted to see if a computer vision system could learn to tell what is being played on a piano just from an overhead view of the keys and the player's hand. So what they're trying to do here is replicate, playing music just by seeing or watching someone play the piano in this case. So let's see here. There you go. So meaning the company is Audio, AUDEO. So the system trained by Eli Schlieserman, Kun Su, and Shulong Liu, as mentioned, watches video of piano playing the first extracts, a piano roll-like simple sequence of process. And then it adds expressions in the form of length and strength of the presses, and lastly polishes it up for input into a MIDI synthesizer for output. So let's see here what the process looks like here. Yeah, there you go. So as you can see here on the left side, you can see that the actual performance here is being recorded, and then they try to convert that and try to replicate it and to generate their own music here. So similar to what happens here on the left side, the actual person, playing the video, and then, the AI is trying to replicate and create their own music here, which is kind of, should musicians be scared of this? I don't think so. I mean, it's a good test of how far AI has gone so far, but obviously that's not going to replace, musicians or any artist in the very near future. It just shows that what are its possibilities in a sense. Maybe something down the line that we might need this type of technology, or even interactions with people, especially in the service industry here and so forth. Anyway, the point here is, as mentioned, according to Schlieserman, to create music that sounds like it could be played in a musical performance was previously believed to be impossible. Now, obviously, the algorithm needs to be figured out first, so it's not yet perfect, the system. So the features, as mentioned, in the video frames that are related to generating music, and it needs to imagine. Now, obviously, imagination is only built in for human beings. I don't know AI can do that, or anytime soon for that matter. So the question is, the sound that's happening in between the video frames obviously requires a system that is both precise and imaginative. So that's the part of the learning process here. So how can they be precise in one sense and be imaginative, so that when you play the music, it sounds like a music, not a robotics type, or doesn't make sense at all. So achieving music, is a surprise, or that's something that we can look forward to in the future. And not only that, another technology that can be used for AI or machine learning is through research, which is kind of surprising, by computational unfolding, meaning paper folding. Okay, so this is used in ancient letters too delicate to handle. So as mentioned, not years, decades or centuries ago, where there was no computer way back. So how did they how do they ensure that the letters that they send are not tampered with? So they fold it in several folds. If you try to unfold it in the proper manner, it would tear itself, so people would know if it has been tampered with and so forth. So the question here is, how do you unlock it? So I think that's the first ever password that was incorporated in the paper folding way back then. So here we have an MIT team that's looking here. Let's see. So the MIT team here is looking at lock letters from 17th century. That's how back it is. So intricately folded and sealed that to remove the letter and flatten it might prematurely damage them. So let's see here. Not this one. There you go. So they're using X-ray technology, you can see here. So this is actually folded paper here. Now, obviously, if you try to unfold them, it would be destroyed here in a matter of seconds here. So question, they're using technology here, as mentioned, AI, to scan through the process here to different layers so that they can ascertain as to what is the content of each of the pages here and what's being mentioned here. So they're trying to see here, so when it's unfolded, so they can try to ascertain what the text here, and obviously if they're able to do it successfully, it would give us better insight as to what was in that content here in the early stages there. And the approach was to use X-ray the letters and set a new advanced algorithm to work deciphering the resulting imagery. So it's not easy. Obviously, if it were easy, they would have done it long time ago here. Okay, there was a paper article as mentioned. I think it's this one. So if you're like some light reading, so there was a paper published, Unlocking History through Automated Virtual Unfolding of Sealed Documents Imaged by X-ray Microtomography. It's my first time hearing this. So the study pertains here, as mentioned, so demonstrating methods of 4-letter packets from Renaissance Europe, reading the contents of one unopened letter for the first time. So using the results of virtual unfolding, we situate our findings with a novel letter locking categorization chart based on our study of 250,000 historical letters. So obviously, get to see more information on what happened in the past with technology. So that's one of the positives or advantages of having better technologies at present here. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this technology here. And as mentioned here, the algorithm ends up doing an impressive job at separating the layers despite the extreme thinness and tiny gaps between them. Now, how accurate is this, which will be the main problem? And obviously, they have to do several testings here before, or was it already done already to validate the process here? So the question here is sometimes less than the resolution of the scan, according to MIT's ethics domain, as mentioned here. So this is something interesting, obviously, maybe centuries later also, when people look back, what are some of the ways to people communicate? Now, obviously, less and less people are using letters here, using more text messaging or using social media platforms and so forth. Maybe you could find another technology to put, what do you call this? Unravel or break the code, which is, typically if you're using Telegram or using iOS messaging services, it's encrypted in a sense here.